Sajana will be talking about the importance of doing analysis of flow variation in the Kalani River, which has the largest hydropower system in Sri Lanka.
Hello everyone, I am Sajana Hemakumara, a master graduate in hydropower development at Norwegian University of Science and Technology. Today I'm going to present about our research on analysis of flow variation in the Kalani River due to the impact of Laxapana Hydropower System in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is a tropical country which was mostly affected by monsoon rainfalls. They are namely southwest monsoon and northeast monsoon. The climate of the country was categorized into three parts, namely wet zone, dry zone, and intermediate zone. So in wet zone, the annual rainfall is higher than that of the other two zones, as you can see on the figure on right side. In wet zone, due to high intensity rainfall, which occur frequently, the floods occur more often. Therefore, the reservoirs in this zone were constructed in order to store this excess water and also to cater for the demands such as hydropower and water supply. It is required to utilize this excess water properly in order to minimize the flood damages. Annually, Sri Lanka suffers flood damages around 32 billion Sri Lankan rupees. According to the source of Ceylon Electricity Board, the main sources in power production are thermal and hydropower, as you can see on the graph on right side. Therefore, significant regulations of the hydropower will occur alteration in the river flow. Therefore, it is vital to quantify this variation of flow due to the hydropower regulations and maximize the power generation and minimize the flood damages. So this is the study area that we have chosen for our research. It is the Kalani River, which is the fourth largest river in Sri Lanka. So the upper catchment of the Kalani River basin consists of the Laxapana Hydropower Complex, which is having a total capacity around 346 megawatt. This is approximately 20% of the national capacity. There are two main river tributaries that will be fed by the complex, which are Maskaliya and Kehelgamoya. The Maosakale Reservoir, as you can see, is fed by Maskaliya, whilst the Castlereagh Reservoir is fed by Kehelgamoya. The Canyon and Lakshapana ponds are located downstream of the Maosakale Reservoir, whilst the Norton Pond located downstream of the Castlereagh Reservoir. The new Lakshapana power station is fed by the Canyon Pond, which has a capacity of 100 megawatt. And the Lakshapana Pond, which is located downstream of the Canyon Pond, get the power flow also from the Norton Pond. So our research was mainly focused on the flow alterations downstream of the Canyon Pond due to the regulation of the upstream regulatory reservoirs. Let's talk about the significance of this research. The natural flow in Sri Lanka mainly affected by the monsoon rainfall seasons. But due to the influence of these hydropower regulations in the upper Kalani basin, it will affect significantly towards the river flow. Therefore, it is vital to analyze this flow variation due to the Lakshapana hydropower scheme in the upper Kalani basin, and it is further important to analyze this effect of a Lakshapana hydropower scheme towards the downstream of the Kalani catchment. it will be more interesting if we analyze this flow variation due to the hydropower regulations with regard to monsoonal rainfall patterns. This is the methodology that we have adapted to our research. First, a hydrological model was developed using WEAP, which is also called the Water Evolution and Planning software for the Kalani Basin in the unregulated state. Then the calibration was carried out in the unregulated conditions and obtained the simulated flows. These flows were compared with respect to the observed discharge downstream of the canyon reservoir. And these results were analyzed in annual and seasonal variations. These are the results that we have obtained from our research. On the top right, you can see the annual flow variation from 1997 to 2015. The blue color bars represent the annual maximum model flow in the unregulated state. The orange color bars represent the annual maximum observed discharge downstream of the canyon reservoir. Therefore, by taking the percentage difference in between the unregulated state and the regulated observed flow, the highest percentage difference were observed in the years of 2015, 2006, and 1999, with the percentages of 93, 91, and 84 respectively. Then we got the monthly flow variation for the same time period, and the percentage difference in between the unregulated model flow and the observed discharge were higher in the months of February to April, and it is lowest in the month of June. So these monthly average flow variations were categorized further into the seasonal patterns, seasonal monsoon rainfall patterns. First, this is the variation during the period of southwest monsoon, which lasts from May to September. And you can see the percentage difference in between the unregulated model flow and the regulated observed discharge varied from 66 to 83%. And if we take the monthly average flow variation during the northeast monsoon season, which lasts from December to March, these percentages vary over 90%, except in January, which is 80%. If we compare these two graphs, you can see the flows that are generated in southwest monsoon period are higher than that of northeast monsoon season. But if we observe the percentage difference in between the unregulated and regulated flow, this is highest in the northeast monsoon season than that of the southwest monsoon season. If we conclude the results, the difference between the maxima of the unregulated discharge, unregulated model flow, and the regulated observed discharge, this represents the magnitude of flood peak reduced due to the regulations in the upper Kalani Basin, which is selected as Muscovy in this particular research. So it is quite clear that the regulatory reservoirs such as Mausakali Reservoir and canyon ponds have a definite flood damping effect in the upper Kalani Basin. And as I mentioned earlier, the percentage difference in between the unregulated and regulated flows were higher in the northeast monsoon than that of the southwest monsoon. The main reason for this is the reservoir filling during northeast monsoon season is less than that of southwest monsoon season. Therefore, the flood dampening capacity during the northeast monsoon season is higher than that of the southwest monsoon season. talking about the recommendation from this study, we can apply the same approach that we have applied for the Muskeli Oya, but apply for the other river tributary to Kehelgamu Oya and evaluate the flow variation occurred due to the two regulatory reservoirs such as Kasuri and the Canyon ponds. And we can also develop the water allocation model for this Kalani River basin using WEAP software and analyze how much is significant these regulations of the Laxapana Hydropower System towards the lower catchment of the Kalani basin, such as how it affects the demands in the lower Kalani basin. Because upper catchment is not well urbanized, and but the lower catchment is very much urbanized. So these regulation will affect deeply towards the lower catchment of the Kalani basin. I hope you enjoy my presentation. Thank you for listening.